BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to BodyBags. It's week 201, and I'm your Sunday host, Bourgie86, here again. Yes, guys, it's our time for the Sunday review, and the film I got for you guys today is a film from the 1950s. Yes, I love me some like 1950s era horror / sci-fi films, and this one is one that I wanted to revisit and review for you guys today. It's from 1958, and it goes by the title of Attack of the Puppet People. Yes, released, of course, through MGM's Midnight Movie series. If you don't know about this film was directed by Bert I Gordon, of course. Director who has a very interesting career, actually, in like certain types of films that he did. Most notably, he directed, like, for me anyways, Food of the Gods, Empire of the Ants, Necromancy, Picture Mommy Dead, numerous other films that I really enjoyed, but pretty much like, especially with like Empire of the Ants and Food of the Gods, it's kind of like in this territory, this film, because the best Bert I Gordon stuff that I have seen so far is like the stuff that he uses, like certain set pieces. That's what I'll get more into my final thoughts of the film. But pretty much the main plot of this one is very simple. We're introduced to our main character of Janet and her boyfriend, who end up meeting under the circumstances and falling in love during this time period. And pretty much what ends up happening is we find out Janet works for this doctor, Dr. Franz, who's like this doll maker. And pretty much what ends up happening is there's these disappearances that are happening surrounding the area of certain people that are interacting with Dr. Franz pretty much. And one of those persons, of course, was Janet's previous, the one who actually Janet took over the job for, disappeared also. So that was interesting. And so they kind of get like into the scoop because they kind of see the back of like Dr. Franz's laboratory sort of type deal. So they kind of snoop around when they shouldn't be. And pretty much what ends up happening is they end up confronting Dr. Franz and being dazed pretty much, and they end up waking up like the next day type deal. And we find out that Dr. Franz is actually making like these living sculptures that are made out of real people, and he shrinks people down into like doll-sized figures pretty much. And it ends up being like an interesting thing because Janet and her boyfriend are kind of like stunned at first because they don't know what the fuck's going on, because they wake up and they see like giant objects around them. And Dr. Franz explains how the process works and actually shows them how to use the machine and what it does. So I found that interesting aspect of that. And of course, pretty much the major, like the rest of the plot of the film is pretty much Janet and Bob actually interacting with the rest of the puppet family pretty much, because he usually likes this family aspect where he throws parties with these people and has them do whatever they want. That is pretty much the main plot of the film without going too crazy into it. Now, my thoughts on this film, really interesting set pieces, because once we see like the laboratory and stuff, that's a really cool setting too, with the laboratory, and especially with the machines inside the laboratory. And just the aspect of being like this miniature doll-sized person. We've seen it before done with like The Incredible Shrinking Man and numerous other films like that, and this one's no different. But this has a different thing that I enjoyed, because it kind of reminisced me to like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a way, especially with the look of the machine that Dr. Franz uses on these doll people pretty much. And it kind of reminded me of that, especially for a film from 1958. It was kind of like, wow, did Stuart Gordon and like Ed Anon actually watched this film and kind of took reminiscence of the design of the machine when they were writing the story for it type deal, which I think they did, but that's not my hold me to that, you know what I mean? But really fun stuff. I really like the small settings that Bert I Gordon uses, but instead of like using like animals and stuff for like the miniature sets, he's using like people pretty much. He's making life size sets for these people to actually look like that they're smaller than they are pretty much, and they look awesome. Like there's one setup where this guy is trying to climb up to the keyhole to get out of the door, and it's like you see the scale of like the door and stuff and the grooves and the edges. It just looks perfect. Like it looks like a actual door that he's climbing on, and just the numerous things that they like. There's one lady takes a bathtub and like this like it looks like a tuna can. That's what I want to say it was, but she's taking a bathtub and like some sort of like can like object. So it was kind of cool, and they use like the objects that they use like doll brushes and stuff like that, and the scissors, of course, and numerous other things. Like they interact with like a few animals. Like there's a dog on the cover. It's not as over exaggerated as like it's not like a major scene in the film, even though it kind of is, but it isn't type deal. They kind of exaggerate a little bit with the cover art, especially with the poster on the back too. It's not really a major scene, but they do interact with a few animals throughout the film. Interesting ending, I had to say. That's probably my major gripe with this film is its ending, because pretty much what ends up happening is it kind of ends abruptly. Pretty much, that's all I'm gonna give away. And it kind of left me like I wanted to see more of what was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Type deal. But a lot of like these older like 1950 films did have like this abrupt ending, so it didn't really bother me. But it's just a major like small gripe that I had with the film. Other than that, it's a fun film. I like the set pieces, like this giant like phone booths and like shit like that, like phones and stuff. Really awesome and stuff. So if I could rate Attack of the Killer Puppet People, I always say killer, but it's actually Attack of the Puppet People. Yeah, tongue twister there, this title anyways, because it's a big one. So if I had to rate it, I'm going to give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. Not the most perfect film in the world, but a lot of fun, and it does have like its charm, with, especially with like the set design and the set pieces and the effects used in it. So 6.5 out of 10 for Attack of the Puppet People. Highly enjoyed this one. Even if it's not a perfect film by any means, it's still a fun ride. So I highly recommend it. Alright guys, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I'll be back next week with another one, guys. So I'll see you soon. Peace out.